News from Clown Planet for the last week. New mind-reading AI. We know how I feel about AI and what I say AI's role going to be in the end times and how it's going to be linked with fallen angel technology, demonic influence, and the dark side working for the New World Order. But the new mind-reading AI is capable of predicting what humans will do next with shocking accuracy. Now they continue and they talk about how this will be applied to marketing, education, mental health treatment, all sorts of things. They're going to be doing this with law enforcement and all those things as well in the New World Order. And then they do acknowledge the potential risk, stating an AI that truly understands human cognition could raise uncomfortable questions about privacy and manipulation when our digital footprint reveals more about us than ever before. They better get used to that because that is the plan. And can you imagine now if it proves itself like it's doing currently, and this isn't even the final version, and it shows you that it can predict perfectly what's going to be done next. Now it takes step 2 and says, oh, by the way, Sholto is going to murder so-and-so or do this crime, lock him up now. Meanwhile, Sholto was never going to do that. But because of the AI's track record, why take the chance? Just lock up Sholto. No problem. Brave new world that they're building for a final 7 years, don't you think? Trump threatens extra 10% tariff on countries that align with anti-American BRICS policies. Trump's announcement came as the BRICS bloc of developing countries is meeting in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The bloc's leaders took aim at Trump's sweeping tariff policies in a joint statement over the weekend. The US tariffs announced in April will take effect on August the 1st instead of July the 9th for countries that have not reached a deal with Washington. US President Donald Trump threatened an additional 10% tariff on countries if they are part of the anti-American policies of BRICS. Now, a couple of things there. He made this decision while they were having their BRICS meeting right now. And while they were having their BRICS meeting and firing shots across the bow at Trump with their words, they also were saying how they stand with Iran and feel really bad about what was done to Iran, but not directly saying America and Israel did it, and even signed like the sympathy book and all those things because, you know, we stand with Iran type thing. So obviously this was coming. Now that 10% extra is on top of any tariffs that were planned for those countries already. So let me paint you a picture. South Africa, 0% tariffs. Then Trump threatening 30% tariffs. South Africa needs to come talk to him. South Africa's made no attempt to go talk to him. They had the one pathetic Ramaphosa visit. They've had another attempted visit, but they have not really bothered to get there. They haven't bothered to replace the ambassador, the racist ambassador that was kicked out of America, replaced with another one. That hasn't been done yet. There's just no urgency to try and speak to Trump and fix the situation and stop the tariffs from coming into play. And we export completed goods, very much so for our car industry and things like that, to America. 0% tariffs. So now the deadlines come. Now suddenly they want an extension. Trump should stick to his guns. So 30% tariffs on South Africa, and then another 10% on top because of our BRICS anti-American sentiments. So 40% tariffs. That's multiple jobs in this country that are now at risk, especially in the auto industry, agriculture, places like that, because of where we stand, who we're aligned with, and how pathetic our government is in not actually doing the legwork and trying to come to an agreement to make sure that the people don't suffer. But instead, they're too busy with corruption and shoring up their own positions to worry about the country and the future, and now are walking face first into 40% tariffs because they're calling his bluff and thinking he's not going to do it. Let's see. Let's see. Jesuit priest claims that LGBT books for kids. Wait for this. Are you sitting? Have you put your coffee down? I don't want you spitting your coffee. The Jesuit priest, Catholic Jesuit priest, claims LGBT books for kids are like sharing Jesus' parables. How can we still equate that with faith? Jesus' parables and LGBT stories for kids? What the heck? Jesuit priest Father James Martin, a favorite of globalist Pope Red Francis, has shared his disturbing take on the recent Supreme Court decision in Mahmoud versus Taylor. In a 6-3 decision, the High Court ruled that parents can opt out of classes with LGBTQ books. In 2022, a Maryland county approved LGBTQ plus themed books for elementary school children to bring diversity to school districts. Father Martin reacted to the ruling and suggested that kids reading LGBT books is akin to Jesus sharing parables. Sick and evil and twisted. Darkness is light and light is darkness. Evil is good and good is evil. End times, people. End times. New mind-reading AI, we've covered that. Global food crisis pushes price of ground beef in the US 16.2% up over the past 12 months. Now this is big. Okay, this is really, there's a lot of other food prices and things going up, but this hits hard, not just in the US. The price of ground beef in the US has risen 16.2% during the last 12 months. No matter how you look at that, that's scary. That's just about everything else at the grocery store also getting more expensive. These days, a shopping cart full of food is a major expense for most American families. Meanwhile, the global food crisis continues to intensify. According to a recent report from the UN's World Food Programme, global hunger is skyrocketing. Today, global hunger is skyrocketing as 343 million people face severe food insecurity driven by an unrelenting wave of global crises, including conflict, economical instability, climate-related emergencies, and all these things. Ground beef was at its highest average price on record in May at $5.98 a pound, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The cost 16.2% higher than a year ago. Now the sad thing is South Africa's ground beef has just had that massive hit as well, and ours has actually risen even more than that. It costs us more than $5.98 a pound for ground beef in South Africa. Now the thing is, we're going to see them make meat unaffordable because they don't want you to eat meat, they want you to eat the bugs. And we're going to see the food instability grow, and we're seeing famine build for that final time of Jacob's trouble. A terrible time awaiting for the whole world. Do we need to worry? No, we have Jesus. Do we need to stress? No, God's coming to pick up his bride. But we are seeing these things come into play, and it's happening fast. This is not a little blip rise and then down again. This is rising food insecurity as we barrel towards that time of judgment that's at the door. Now more than ever, it is important to be living righteously for Christ, to be sharing the gospel of truth, and to be shining a light in the midst of the darkness for those around us. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.